Faithful Tub fans will know that I am a big fan of Star Citizen, and I am quick to defend the work and decisions made by Cloud Imperium Games, the developer. There are, however, some questions raised that I can agree leave one a little unsure about the project. So here are some of my answers to the big questions of Star Citizen. One of the biggest issues raised is that of feature or scope creep. There's no doubt that the Star Citizen project has grown in vision in a big way. Why not make a game bigger and better when it began with a $500,000 goal on Kickstarter, and ended with over $2 million, and then went on to raise over $161 million as of today? Biggest fear with feature creep is that the game will be bloated and unplayable due to these added features, or worse, that the final version will never even see the light of day. Feature creep is a very valid worry, and many a project has suffered from the desire to be too big. And, unfortunately, the best answer to this is that sometimes you just have to trust the developers. Chris Roberts is aware of the accusation thrown at Star Citizen, and his response was a single word. The more PG-rated version was bullcrap. In one of his letters from the chairman, blog posts designed to keep backers up to date on new developments within the Star Citizen community, he went on to say, Star Citizen matters because it is big, because it is a bold dream, and is something everyone else is scared to try. You didn't back Star Citizen because you want what you've seen before. You're here and reading this because you are willing to go big, to do things that terrify publishers. You've trusted us with your money so we can build a game, not line our pockets. And that's the basis of my answer. I believe Star Citizen has some very talented and competent developers, and a lot of people who are willing to help finance its dream. These two things combined, and possibly some hard decisions later on, should allow Star Citizen to be the big game it wants to be without making the experience as a whole a lesser one. Maybe this isn't the answer people want to hear, but not everyone needs to worry about it. Eventually the game will launch and there won't be any issues of trust in the developer. Just, hopefully, rave reviews. You can't really escape talking about monetization when addressing the worries about Star Citizen. Most of what people hear about the game is that it has made a lot of money, and that it's really expensive, and probably that it's a scam thanks to those who hold a strange amount of hate for the project. But it is a good question. Will Star Citizen continue to simply sell digital starships for real money after the launch of the game? No. Chris Roberts said in an interview at a Bar Citizen, a get-together for fans and developers, that their plan was to offer the ability to buy a limited amount of UEC, the in-game currency, over a certain period, and to simply offer the starter packages for the game. While there is a question of if this will be enough to sustain the game, the plan is not to simply sell the ships directly. The stated goal back in the Kickstarter was not to be pay to win, so hopefully the devs will stick to that as much as possible. The mindset that CIG tries to get people in is that they aren't selling these ships right now. They are simply specific rewards for pledging money to support the development of Star Citizen. Another money-related issue people have with Star Citizen is those darn multi-$1,000 digital ship packages, up to $15,000. It's crazy that these options exist, but what's even more crazy is that people have bought them. But that's how I would defend the existence of these astronomically expensive packages. They exist for those who have the disposable income and want to support the project in a big way, a huge way, and CIG can reward them with a whole bunch of digital ships. CIG is careful not to have these up front and in the face of new backers, and that's how it should be. In fact, you don't even see these packages unless you're signed into their website. They're not trying to sell these expensive packages to everyone, just the highly interested. I think if they didn't exist, there would be some that would ask for them. A complaint within the Star Citizen community is about the concept sales. These are for ships that are currently in the concept stage of development, likely a long way from actually being in-game. There are certain perks offered for those who choose to pledge for these ships early on, like special editions or special skins, stuff like that. The problem is that CIG, especially recently, has been pretty vague about what some of these ships are supposed to be, even in the Q&A articles they post answering questions from the community. Some also think these concept sales happen too often. As far as the concepts being vague, I can't really blame CIG too much. Should they promise too much for a specific ship, they'll get complaints if they have to change it down the road. Maybe they could possibly move to more of an early development sale, when they can provide more detail on how the ships will fit in the game. but in general, I'd advise people not to pledge if they're at all unsure about it. As for frequency, there are teams specifically dedicated to designing these ships, so these sales simply happen as new concepts come into production. And again, I'd say people complain if they were not offered, especially since CIG has a history of operating these concept sales. These sales will likely slow down eventually, and they are meant to help provide additional funding for the game's development. Should these sales continue beyond launch, I'll have a problem with them. But as the transactions are currently meant to support the game, something CIG is explicit about when someone pledges on the website, I don't really have a problem with it. If you have a problem with them, I believe there's a simple solution. Don't pledge for them. If people stopped throwing their money at CIG every time they had these sales, they'd probably slow down. But they seem to be pretty popular. A more personal problem I have is that CIG seems to be eager to promote Star Citizen to a broader audience this early in development. I understand that they are trying to ensure funding, but it makes me nervous introducing a more general audience to the game as it currently is. Certainly, I think it looks really cool, but I understand that I am the vast minority in this. By trying to draw more people in now, they are risking the possibility of losing people later. It's easy to be underwhelmed by what exists today. There's very little game to play, there's jank to spare. I think the word of mouth method has worked well so far, obviously, and I think it would be wise to wait until there's something more universally impressive to do more promotion. The last issue I'll address is, I believe, a very unfair and uninformed accusation leveled at Star Citizen, that it is simply vaporware and will remain as such. This accusation is patently false. While I do worry that Star Citizen will not be able to fully accomplish its goals, I have no doubt that something is being and will be produced. This confidence mainly comes from the fact that something exists now. And what exists is doing some pretty cool things already. Sure, it's definitely not a full game, and it's nowhere near fulfilling the potential of $161 million, but it's there for anyone to see. If CIG is trying to churn out nothing, they are doing a very poor job of doing so. So those are some of my answers to the questions of Star Citizen. Maybe some of these answers didn't help much, but if that's the case, then wait. This early phase of development is not meant for everyone. Just those who are passionate for the project and want to help see it happen. And I believe the game will really be something special for a lot of people to enjoy when it finally, eventually launches. I'd love to see you in the verse, but if I need to, I can wait. If you have any questions or issues with Star Citizen or its development, let me know and I can answer them in a future episode. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.